Now we'll talk about designing classroom tests. We should be able to know that an innovative test for a classroom at any level needs a lot of effort to be designed, and then even more effort and time to be refined for practical users. This is a skillful job, or rather it involves more than one skills to design a test. In this regard, we could see that there could be certain practical steps and measures which may be taken in order to produce some workable and fruitful tests. First step in this regard could be knowing the purpose of a test. A test maker should be able to know that why he is creating a certain test, or why anyone else who has created a test before him did so. Is it based on an evaluation of a certain proficiency, or is it there to place students in a certain course? As I said earlier, a test maker should be clear about the purpose of a test. If he is clear about the purpose, then he should be able to define its objectives as well. And objectives of a test should be clear and unambiguous. He should know exactly what he is going to do with the test. He should examine that quite carefully. Knowing the objectives may involve a lot of issues, from simple to complex ones. For example, a test maker needs to make decisions about what language abilities are to be assessed with a certain test he is going to design. At the same time, it is recommended that every curriculum should have clearly framed and easily identifiable objectives. And those objectives should be expressed in a way that what students need to do based on those objectives in overt students' performances. For example, I place in front of you an example of an objective which is given usually in some textbooks. An objective could possibly be that students will learn tag questions. Do you think it's a specific objective? In my humble opinion, this is not, because we are not clear by reading this objective that students would be doing that in written or spoken form. Instead, if we say that students would be able to recognize and produce tag questions with the correct grammatical form and final intonation pattern in simple social conversations, this makes a more comprehensible and understandable objective for a classroom lesson. So we should focus on those objectives which are clear and unambiguous, and a reader and a teacher may easily identify them. Next is drawing up test specification. They are very important, and test specification may consist of a broad outline of the test, what a test would include, what skills it aims to test, and then what kind of items would it include, how the items should look like. He should present a sample of it before he actually makes the actual test. Then the next step is devising test tasks. It's an important stage where a teacher or test maker decides about various tasks. While deciding about various tasks, he should be aware of the fact that these tasks should be practical in nature. Otherwise, they would not be performed in classrooms and they would be useless for actual reasons. They should be able to be evaluated reliably by the teacher. Again, another consideration which a teacher should keep in mind while designing a task for a test. Then a task should strive itself for the authenticity, and it should make students, or in other words, it should urge students to produce this best performance. In this regard, we could, while deciding about a task for a test, we can start with a warm-up activity. Then we could work on objective questions, which would be also kind of level check questions. Then we could go to probe questions, and probe questions we could include opinion-based questions. And then in the last, we could wind down, where we could ask about the comments by the students or and the teacher as well. In this regard, I can give examples of designing a multiple choice questions. When you design a multiple choice questions, you need to look into each item to measure a specific objective. You should ensure that every item you include is based on a purpose. And both STEM and the options should be clearly given to the student or test taker, so he can answer correctly. He is given a fair chance to answer correctly. Similarly, the intended answer should be clear and the only correct one. There may not be more than one correct answers in a choice. Otherwise, he will be denied. A probable test taker would be denied to give a fair answer. Scoring, grading, and feedback are also an important criterion for making a test, and various test forms and functions vary because of these grading systems. So they should also be kept in mind while designing a test.